Hey guys, how are you? I'm going to be starting free yes and no crystal ball. And my list opens for tarot, which is 25. How are you guys doing today? So I'm just letting the stream load so that I can start the free yes and no crystal ball. I answer most questions. Some are not eligible, like medical safety kind of stuff I don't answer. All right, here we go. So we're going to start the free yes and no. Okay. How's everyone doing today? All right, so here we go. Let's see. All right, let's see. Leslie's asking, will Brittany and you reconcile romantically? So this is a bit strange, but I will describe what I'm seeing. So this is when a person is kind of like, so this would be like in a church kind of setting. I don't know what denomination. I know you're asking a love question. Will you and her reconcile romantically? I understand. But gazing, you get messages and you just, you know, they are what they are. So this talks about a ceremonial process, and it looks like it's in a church setting. So this can be a baptism. This can be when someone is being some kind of like cleanse, or this is a very strange term, but exorcism is one, expelling things. It can be you know, some kind of ritual that's done for, you know, there's so many different denominations and faiths and all kinds of things, so I don't know. It's a ceremonial ritual process, whether it's to expel evil or blessings, or I don't know what the person you're asking about, what they practice, or what a church setting or what this ceremonial thing has to do with them, but this is connected to them. So either this is something that maybe it was a problem in their family, maybe it was something that they told you about when you were dating, or maybe this was a spiritual concern of theirs, or maybe this is something they were hanging around someone that was into that might have severed the tie. I don't know, maybe it was a series of nightmares she was having. I don't know what this has to do with her. All I'm saying is this is the message. Based on this, now let's get to your answer. This looks like a heavy situation with the person you're asking about. It seems to me that the person you're asking about has a level of spiritual interruption, or maybe spiritual torment, something heavy around them due to either family or a traumatic past. There's something to this. Now, it can also be that she tinkered with, you know, magic shops and all of that, which I don't really want to get into, but there's something spiritual about the person you're asking. You're asking a love question. Based on this, I would say no. There is There's some kind of wedge in, for two people to have the romantic part and the psychological parts, healthy, getting along. The spiritual part has to also be healthy. If a person's not in their best vibe and feeling negative around them, there's an issue. This person has an issue. And this is not only family and trauma, but also the other people she hangs around. I would say based on that, no. Okay? So this is how my gazing works. You get an answer, but you get a message. Okay? All right. Nicole, will Andy and you be in a committed romantic relationship? Give me 1 second. Nicole. Okay. So I do see something. The first thing that I see is a woman in a bridal outfit that has a very old-fashioned lace. It reminds me of old, like grandma kind of, generational Italian old-fashioned weddings is what it looks like. I mean, there's a lot of cultures that have that type of veil, but there's something Italian to the background. So maybe this is something in your ancestral or his, or maybe it's something that you both like. Maybe you have an affinity with Italy or something. It could be a person in your bloodline that guides you, maybe had that type of wedding. I'm not sure. Maybe it is a spiritual, thing, because I feel that your ancestral line wants you married. Maybe you're not ready, but your protectors, your deceased loved ones, your spiritual team, if you will, they would like you married for some reason already. And I do see that kind of protection is kind of wanting that in your life. I do see that there's a big level of long-term commitment preparation that you have to offer this person. So your headspace is in the right commitment, but I do see this person changing, matching it. So I would say that you are in the right mind for mindset, and you're in the mindset, but the person that you are putting this energy into is not stable in what they want. So I would say it's not over or anything. I don't know if this is like a crush, or you met, or you have 8 years together, whatever. There's not a love reading. I'm just giving you a message based on your question. I would say no, because like I said, I see the energy of this person changing often. So Andy, I guess, right, would be his name. I don't see this stable where he is where you are. So that could either be wait and see if you guys click, and hopefully that takes off. But again, I'm already seeing changes. Okay, hope that helps. Let's see. Kat, does Casein have your laptop? Ask them. Okay, let's see. Is there a reconciliation or breakup scene with who? Okay, let's see. Sally, will Naveen and you have a committed relationship? Okay, Sally and Naveen. So I do see a parrot. The type of parrot seems to me like a some kind of Amazon, which is a type of parrot. Easy there, Tarot. And it doesn't seem related to, in other words, it's not you or him. This is someone else. So maybe either you go to a pet store, there's something with a pet store, or something with pets, or a place where there's wild animals or trained animals in this situation. So sometimes that's where people have a date. Sometimes it's maybe happening when you guys are, maybe when you met. I don't know what the deal is, but there is, you know, a parrot in this situation. So I would say based on this, this is a memory. And because the memory is very thick, I would say that yes, your question, because you're asking about, you know, somebody, if you have like a long commitment, a long relationship, very important to this, unless the parrot situation is X, in which case then that would be, you know, kind of like interjecting to the energy that you have with this, you know, want with this new person. Sometimes that happens. A person has so much with someone in the past that it's just not over and on an energy level, even though their mind are ready for a new, you know, a new connection. So yes, I would say yes, you know, being, you know, that if, as long as it's not someone in the past. If you don't know what the parrot means or anything like that, then, you know, I'm not sure because I don't see your comments or anything. So I'm just saying that is what I'm seeing. And based on that, I would say yes. Let's see. Looking for, I get the question. I'm trying to go in order here. 1 second. Trying to sort through these questions a minute. Okay. Trying to see if I missed anybody, but it's really hard because there's so many. So I'm trying. Okay. So the next one I see is, oh, you're welcome. The next one I see is Ashley. Why are your sisters Kalissa and Sudhira jealous of you? You don't understand. So I don't answer why unless you book a reading. I'm answering yes and no. And I don't know that they are jealous. That's your assumption. I would have to see if they are, based on how, you know, a divination works. You never lead the question for spirit. You leave it open for the answer that you want. Okay, let's see. Donna, will Carmela return? You know, in other words, you mean from a trip, or are you asking about a romantic reconciliation? I don't, the question's open. Amanda, will Amber change for better if you give him another chance? Amir, sorry, Amir. Okay, Amanda's asking about Amir. Okay. I would say no. The person wants you to be in the picture. They want to be in the picture still. In other words, they want to still be connected in the relationship or whatever situationship, whatever it is romantically. Yes, they still want in. But they want you to, you know, not want to change them. So they don't. They really don't. At the core, they don't. There's also something a little bit untruthful about this person. Naturally, how they are. It's just it feels something secretive. Yeah. So I do see two people watching a film. You know. So yes. Yes. I also see you continue to be involved with him as well. So yeah, if you want to resist, you got to work hard on that because I still see, you know. All right, hope that helps. Okay, let's see. Vanessa, will Sorel contact you? I'm wondering why I see their face like kind of like projected. I don't know why that is. The answer is yes. I don't know if this is maybe like a video conference or meeting or phone call or whatever on a larger screen. There's something about a larger screen, like when something is projected larger. So yes, but I also see it in the digital space because this is not at first in person. There's something video first. So yes. Tarot, don't do that. Okay, let's see. Kim, will Antonio come back to reconcile soon? Oh, thank you so much. So I do see a person playing either a keyboard or the piano. If he doesn't play instruments, maybe there's something symbolic with content or something he enjoys, or maybe it's something where you both viewed something like this live, whatever. I don't know the story, but yeah, I am seeing a person playing the instrument. It could, I believe it's percussion, so yes, I do believe it's piano or keyboard, but it can also be a DJ table. I didn't see the DJ equipment. It seems more to me like piano, but okay. Anyway, so I would say yes because this is a deeply embedded, memory kind of thing. So I would say yes. There's a heaviness to it with the past. So yes. Okay, let's see. Nicole, will you hear from Chris again? Yes. I see a man leaning close to kiss a woman. He seems to me like the romance, like you're going to see very soon. And when I say soon, I'm not timing this because I do a lot of timelines when I do readings. So it feels like soon, but I don't want to do like a time thing on this. It feels like you're going to be seeing romantic, effort from him. So maybe like saying pretty words or something, and it's genuine. So if a guy is not giving you like all the lovey-dovey, it seems like he ups it. It doesn't seem like he's full of it. I don't mean full of shit. I mean like full of romantic stuff. He's not heavy on it, but he becomes a lot more than normal, than average, than what you've seen. So yes, this is a good message, looking to that connection. And it seems really genuine. Okay, let's see. Kelly, will you ever hear from John? I would say yes. I think there's something exceptionally spiritual connection between both of you. There's got to be something deep there, what I'm seeing, because I know that's not what you're asking, and this doesn't really do, the kind of readings, answers I'm doing right now are not like, complicated or anything, but I do see something very deep with you guys. So like, let's say that you meet and hang out and you're really close for 8 months and then you don't see each other for 2 years and then he comes back. This is the kind of connection that people lose touch and come back, lose touch, come back, or don't lose touch because the connection, that string, that cord is very thick. But anyway, I see two people playing a board game, which it's not super popular to do these days, but there is a small taste for that. I don't know if this is something of years back or whatever. Yes, I do see two people bonding. So in other words, there's a friendship element to it, but then there's also, the other part. Yes, I would say yes. It's just that for some reason, this connection seems troubled to me. It doesn't seem like a good, healthy one. where two people fall in love and stay together and never drift apart. I see that this is troubled. Will, you know, like, will have its ups and downs and doesn't seem stable, but at the same time there's a connection that doesn't end. So yeah, hope that helps. Okay, let's see. Miriam, is Idris planning to call your dad about traditional event? Okay, so you want to see if she is planning to call your dad. Hang on one second. Miriam, is Idris planning to call your father? I would say yes. And the traditional event, I don't know, you're being vague on purpose, you know, obviously, but I do see a really long table with, you know, there is crystal and there, you know, I don't know, it seems very, you know, very black tie to me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, the she does call. She does call. So she's not planning on it, she does call. Okay, yes, Miriam, you're saying yes about the crystal, yes. What do you mean by that? It could be glass. It doesn't necessarily, you know, I mean, for crystal to be inspected and be, you know, crystal, like, this is crystal. Behind me up there is glass. The one up there is glass. So glass is see-through. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just to really inspect and know that something's crystal, you know, I don't mean it like that. I mean, like, it's, you know. Yeah. So if you're going to use actual crystal or not, or, you know, glass, it's fine. You know what I meant, that it looked, you know, black tie. Yeah. Okay. No, it has to be Waterford or Baccarat or Rene Lalique. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. You probably can't afford a table full of Lalique. No, if you know the price of Lalique, it's millions. Okay, Selda, is Wilson right about your new program? Yeah, that seems really vague to me. I don't do vague with this. Did that person put that thing there that one time on that one day? I don't do that. Those are word games. Straight up question. Okay, let's see. Now, if you did want a reading from me where you don't want to say anything, and you just want to see what comes up, then you can book a reading. But when I'm offering free messages, I don't do puzzles. Yeah, I don't play word games. Okay. Let's see. Zakia, will Amari and you reconcile? Okay. So I do see communication. I'm not going to describe what I'm seeing because it's just going to confuse you in this particular case, but I'm telling you that there is gossip involved. So there's a distrust. So two people are speaking, and I can see that there is nervousness and distrust. It goes well as far as in a cordial way, the way the communication, but not deeply. So I would say, to a surface. All right, Joanna, is your husband William coming back? Coming back home. So I don't know what you mean by that, because are they military? Are they in a hospital? Are they incarcerated? Are they overseas because of a business trip? I don't know what you mean. Is it that they left the marriage and want to come back, you know? You've been separated. Okay, so that means that, yeah, okay, so coming back to the relationship. Okay. So let me ask again. Okay, so is your husband, okay, William to Joanna. Okay, William to Joanna. Now you got to realize, guys, when you are getting these answers, let me do that one first on William and Joanna. I would say at this point, no, because I do see, I do see a man sitting down in what looks to be like living room furniture, um, getting entertainment. So either it's a video game or a movie or whatever on the screen. So, that part's insignificant. It's just the entertainment. So you're either going to watch something or, obviously, or we're playing online games or something like that. So, and the vibe is very isolated. So this is like a person kind of set in a way where there's no one else there. So this is like a wall up. So I would say right now the answer is no. But I was going to say when people, this is not related to you specifically, just in general, when a person asks a love question and they paid someone for some kind of magic, even if it's like, a candle or, some kind of match reading or something like that, that's like all under, the love stuff. You got to realize that when the moment you do any kind of magic on a love situation, it changes the energy. So you got to kind of have to think about it the way you would a computer virus. It doesn't, or Trojan or computer worm or whatever. It doesn't surface right away. And when it does, the casting is because if you want information on the past, present, or future, you get a reading. If you want change, then you either implement it yourself with your free will, your choices, and your highest self, or you go the magic route. And the magic route's going to give you a result. Magic is for results. Readings are for information and guidance. So the moment that someone does that to the relationship, then they want an answer because they can't wait. It doesn't work that way. So you might get a yes from somebody, oh, it's going to be great. And then you get an answer later where it's like, wait a minute, problem or something. And it's because they don't understand how magic works. And especially when they're going to a bunch of different practitioners thinking the more they do, the better it is. That's one great way to fuck everything up in someone's life. Just saying. Stick to one if you decide to do that route, and stick to who you're working with. Don't be hopping around. But then again, to each their own. They will get the result, But anyway, I'm just saying that because a lot of people, they don't want to, pay anything for readings. And then they decide to tinker with a bunch of stuff. And then they want the answer immediately. That's not the way magic works. So just saying that. All right, let's see. P, is Cotton moving on? Is he wasting your time? Well, he is wasting your time. And he's not moving on because his intention the entire time was to, have his cake and enjoy it too. Okay. All right, Vanessa, does Brody think of you at all? So first of all, a little bit isolated from the question, but here goes. You see someone inside a place that looks like they're doing something very intense. This can be a library, a class, it can be a workspace where they're very knee deep in work. The goal of this person is what they're doing, their craft, their career, their job. In this particular case, I'm not seeing a very high level of romantic awareness or commitment. So you're asking, you got to realize this is really tapping into the energy of the current moment. So I don't mean like, are they picking their nose right now? Are they burping right now? I don't mean that, because I offer readings where I can do remote viewing, obviously. I have the ability. I sell those in my shop. But I'm talking about the current moment, meaning like a couple of weeks ago versus a couple of weeks that are, gonna come forth. So these present times. So this phase of life, this little highlight in time. So maybe like a piece at the last part of August, and then like